Welcome to FoodPoint. This week I'll share some tips and suggestions about using alcohol in cooking. Whether it be beer, wine, or some sort of spirit or liqueur, alcohol can be used in a variety of cuisines, or be used to complement a specific dish. Due to the number of varieties, we'll explore wines first. As someone who doesn't drink wine, but uses it frequently in cooking, I've always gone with the rule of red wine with red meat and red sauces, and white wine with white meat and white sauces. While I believe that this is still a handy guide to follow, my research for this video has led me to realise that there's more to wines than just red and white. Red wines are, as you'd expect, made using red grapes. However, the actual colour comes from the skin and seeds of the grapes, not the juice itself. The most common varieties available are Cabernet Sauvignon, Shiraz, Pinot Noir, and Merlot. Each of these types has a different flavour profile which would work with different dishes. Cabernet Sauvignon is best served with grilled red meats, and can be used in a marinade when preparing dishes like this, whereas Shiraz would work best with stews and sauces. Interestingly, Pinot Noir goes very well with white meats and seafood, although it's a red wine. And Merlot is a good all-rounder red that goes with basically anything. If you can't be bothered having different reds available for cooking specific dishes, I would recommend restricting yourself to just a bowl of Merlot. Next, we have white wines, which are mostly made using white grapes, and the skins and seeds are removed before fermentation to preserve clarity and colour. White wines are usually divided into two groups, dry and sweet. Dry wines would include varieties such as Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, and Pinot Grigio. Sweet wines would include Moscato. And then there's Riesling, which can come in either dry or sweet varieties. Dry wines are best served with white meat and other savoury dishes, while sweet whites are often enjoyed on their own or paired with desserts. Sparkling wine and champagne is white wine that has become carbonated, either through natural fermentation or carbon dioxide injection. They go best with spicy, deep-fried or oily foods, as the bubbles refresh your palate more effectively than a normal wine. Finally, there's rosé wine, which is thought to be the oldest winemaking process. Rosé complements basically any type of cuisine, but is not often used in cooking. White wines, sparkling wines, and rosé would usually be served chilled, whereas red wine shows the best flavour at room temperature. There are also fortified wines such as port and sherry, which are often drank on their own, but can also be added to dishes for a deep mellow flavour. When using wine in cooking, a common saying I've heard is, "Don't cook with wine you wouldn't drink." For someone like me, who doesn't really drink wine, this poses a problem. My advice is to ignore this saying. Use whatever wine you have available. I've even been known to use cask wine in an emergency and nobody's complained yet. Wines aside, it's time to talk about beer. There are three main varieties of beer. The most common one is lager, which has a light, crisp flavour. Lager could be viewed as the champagne of beers, as it pairs well with the same foods, namely foods which are deep-fried or battered. Actually, if you're ever making a beer batter, I would recommend using a lager as the flavour is not likely to take over. Then there's ale, which has a deeper and more malty flavour, as well as a deeper colour. Ale is versatile and pairs with a wide range of foods, except for desserts, which can bring out the bitterness. For a beer that goes well with sweet or savoury flavours, try a stout instead. Stout can also be used in cooking, particularly to add richness to red meat stews. For those of us who aren't partial to the bitterness of beer, there's a sweeter alternative, cider, which is most commonly made by fermenting apple juice, but other fruits can also be used. I find that cider seems to go well with almost everything, and with a range of different fruit flavours, there's probably a cider for everyone. Not to be overlooked are spirits and liqueurs, which are used quite extensively in cooking, most often in desserts, such as Tiramisu. Vodka also sees a lot of use in tomato-based pasta sauces, as it brings out unexpected and interesting flavours. I hope you've enjoyed the video and picked up some helpful information about different types of alcohol and how they interact with food. For a bonus steak and stout pie recipe, please click the box to the left. Or, for something sweeter but laced with alcohol, please click the screen on the right. If you like what you see, subscribe and stay tuned for more. Don't forget to check out my blog at www.foodpointhq.blogspot.com for more in-depth recipes and updates. Drop me an email or message with a new recipe request and it may be featured in a future episode. Until next time, happy eating!